So, Tanni, lovely to see you. We don't need to ask you your name. This is the first time, I'm sure, you've been to an Invictus Games because it's the first day. What were your impressions, really, of what's happening down here at Lee Valley?
Invictus Games have been amazing. I mean, I think the quality of the competition has been really high, and for some of the men and women competing here, this might be a just sort of transition to, back to mainstream sport, back to sort of outside life. But there's definitely, I've seen a lot of talent of people who can make their Paralympic teams, and that's quite exciting as well, because when I was reading the athletes' biographies, and there's some really, heart-wrenching stories, and you can almost think how on earth can some people go through any more than they've been through. They all talk about the brotherhood, about the military, and actually there's something about the shared experience that they have here and the bond they have, which they then can use as a stepping stone to something else.
But you've spent decades in Paralympic sport, and you've seen them all then. So would you say there's a sort of there's a different atmosphere in a way here, beyond the fact that it's similar events because of that fraternity amongst guys and women that have fought for their country? Really,
there's a really different atmosphere here. It's probably a little bit more like Commonwealth Games in terms of it's very friendly. So, you see on quite a few of the start lines, athletes talking to each other and having a bit of a joke, and everybody, when they cross the line, everyone in congratulating each other. And that's probably, you'd see that a bit more at Olympics and Paralympics. But it is about people doing their best, pushing their own barriers, challenging themselves, and that's a really nice thing to be part of. I don't think we could have had something like Invictus a couple of years ago. I think as British people we might have struggled with it, but I think on the back of the London 2012 Olympics, Paralympics, I think just the public see this as sport, and also recognising everything that the guys and men and women in the military have done for us. So I think it's hugely positive. I hope this is the first of many.
And the last question, of course, it comes to that being a BBC commentator. But what about, we talked about the Olympic legacy. This is the legacy in action before our eyes from the Paralympics, obviously. Do you think something like Invictus should and could sort of continue for just like other big events, like the Commonwealth Games or whatever?
I think Invictus is, very much part of the legacy. It's about giving disabled people an opportunity to compete, and that might be at European level, it might be Commonwealth, or it might be at something which is for people who've been in the services. And that stepping stone is incredibly important for an awful lot of people. And, I think the organisers have done an amazing job. It was put together, they didn't have years and years to plan it, to make it happen. There wasn't a bottomless pit of money. But I think when you see not just the quality of competition, but everything that's going on behind the scenes, they should be really proud of what they've done.